G'day. So I'm still working on the aluminium project. It is a massive project. It's not finished yet, but what I'm going to go through now in this video is where I'm up to and what progress I've made. I'd say we're probably about 75% of the way done. It's pretty massive, so I'm just going to run through this unscripted and just follow through what I've done so far and give a few explanations on why I've done it. Right, so in the previous video, showed the trains and the water coming in and the bauxite coming in and going down into all the refineries to make the aluminium scrap. What have I done since last time? I've painted all the pipes, got all the aluminium running. The pipes get painted for two reasons: aesthetically pleasing and also good for troubleshooting. With the 7:9 ratio, the 9:7 ratio with these pipes here, what I also discovered is an easier way to do it, or additional way, is actually at the train station itself. Because it's got two outputs and two inputs, I've actually merged the 7:9 along the top of the train station here as well. What I will quickly say is, yes, I'm starting to lose frames now. There's just so much going on in this world. I'm up to about 13 megabytes on this save. It is all vanilla. I'm running a 3080 GPU and an i9, so it's a pretty good computer, but it's still starting to lag, get some frame drops. So that's what you'll see in this video. It is what it is. All right, so all the bauxite's coming down here, nice and neatly. All the rest of the bauxite in the map going into the refineries, and it's mixing with the water coming in. Right, so this is 66 refineries, and this is the recipe I'm using. Two reasons I'm using this recipe is because, one, I'm not using the blender because I need sulfur for batteries later. We need to make more batteries, and I need more silica, and obviously the byproduct from this is silica. So it's got to the point where I'm trying to squeeze all the quartz out of the map that I possibly can, and we need all the silica we can. Right, so these first 7 rows of refineries get the bauxite and the water and make the aluminium solution down the center here. As you can see, all the silica is just, the excess silica is getting crushed, and so is the aluminium scrap right at the end there, because I want this system to keep running. I want it to never stop running. Which I'll explain in just a second. So the last 4 sets of 6 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, are running on recycled water from the actual aluminium scrap makers over here. Alright, so let's just go over. White is obviously the aluminium solution coming from these machines, and blue is water. Alright, so you'll see here all the water coming from the train station up into this row. The last 4 lines is getting all the recycled water from these refineries here. Now, I have chosen to use the electrode scrap alt recipe for a couple of reasons. It is actually slightly more efficient than the other one, and also petroleum coke. I'm using an oil node just over here, and I'll briefly look at this factory over here. I'm making petroleum coke over there because there's one of those nice resource wells there. Right, so you'll see all the aluminium solution coming in nice and neatly and load balanced into these, and then here's the recycled water going into those 4. Now these 4 are overclocked because I want to always be using up all the water. You never ever want this water to back up. Now I've had this system running for a while, and you will notice that some of them are yellow intermittently. That's done on purpose because I want to make sure that I'm using all the recycled water. Alright, there is one minor throughput issue with the train, and all I need to really do is add another train and space it out. And worst case scenario is there's actually a water resource thing down there, which I can grab more water, but at the moment I'm actually running more refineries than I need to be running. I don't know if that makes sense, but I want to be using as much solution as I can from these 4 sets here, using as much solution from it, right, into these machines, so that I use as much recycled water as I can use from the entire system. Anyway, so there's all the recycled water going down that way, and then into there. The petroleum coke, 4 lines of petroleum coke coming in here from that factory over there. Now with the aluminium scrap, this produces 21 lines of 600. And where's it all going? Because there's not much room left, I decided to go underneath. And let's take a look. So we go underneath here, and as you'll see, there is a lot. Okay, so smart splitters, the main 21 lines go to the south there, to the other side of the factory, and these are all overflowing down this way and up into, yep, 21 crushers. Alright, because I want this system to keep running the whole time. I'll just take a quick look at these feet, because it does overhang the red forest quite a lot. I do want to make everything aesthetically pleasing, so I've got some massive structures holding this up, and some nice towers there on the corner. Alright, so that's that. That is that. You know what, I'm not even going to go into that factory over there. But what's going on in that factory is we're making petroleum coke, and then with the leftover heavy oil residue, we're going to make plastic. So over there you'll see inside there we're just crushing the blue stuff, the polymer resin, and then if you see there's another 600 line of heavy oil residue and 450 polymer resin ready to go for another factory to make plastic for batteries. Right, so there's a nice neat factory over there. For petroleum coke. Alright, so that briefly covers this factory, this side of the factory. But basically we have water coming in, bauxite coming in, or frame drops. And then all the aluminium scrap coming out here, and then the silica as well coming out over there. Look at those frames disappear. Alright, there's a water train arriving. So let's go take a look at these belts. Now, what have I done under here? You may think this is a little bit excessive, a little bit crazy, but this is what I like to do. This is part of the fun of the game for me, is massive logistic stuff. So, I have 21 lines here of 600, roughly 600. I want to bring them into 18 lines, because 18, after doing a lot of math, 18 is the number I want to be working with. 18 rows of machines, 18 lines, all the rest of it. Okay, so I'm turning 21 rows into 18. How do I do that? Well, I need to split 3 of these rows into 6 each. So this goes into 6, 6, 6, and then into the rest of the 18. Alright, so this row is splitting into 6, the next one's splitting into 6, and the next one's splitting into 6, which is here. 1, 2, 3. And then they merge in, as you can see, all these merges along here, into the remaining 18 rows. So that's how I've done 21 rows into 18 rows, and it works out pretty much. I now have 18 rows of 700 aluminium scrap per minute, roughly. The other thing that I've got going on here is some load balancing with the smart splitters. So each row will overflow into the next row, so on and so forth down the line, and then the final one overflows back into the other end one. So it's essentially a loop. A loop is going on here, right? And it's all done neatly. You can see that I've even put some glass here for some of the bauxite coming. Yes, it probably looks excessive, but it also looks pretty cool. And I might put some lights under here. Right, so that's 21 rows of 600 into 18 rows of 700, roughly, and all load balance coming over here, getting ready to get dealt with. All right, and I'll go over what I'm doing with the cheap silica in just a second. But I need all the silica, the remaining silica, and I've done a very similar thing over here with silica, except it's a lot smaller because it was a bit easier to deal with. Right, so the recycled silica, or the leftover silica, it's coming down these 6 rows here. All I want to do is turn 6 rows into 18 even rows, so that was pretty easy. All I need to do is split each row of these twice. Okay, so 3 times 6 is 18, pretty easy. That's what I've done. I've split 6 rows into 18, and then I've done the same thing with the overflow system. So we overflow to the left, we overflow to the right, to the right, to the right, to the right, and this one overflows back again into there, and then a bit of neat belt work, and what we end up with is 18 rows, 3 sets of 6 of silica. So this is about 3,000 silica per minute, roughly, a split between 18 rows. Cool, so that's 18 rows of silica, 18 rows of aluminium scrap, and so there's 3,000 silica there, and I need about 10,000 silica. So now we move into the cheap silica. Now the reason I'm using cheap silica recipe is because, like I said before, I need to squeeze out of the map as the remaining amount of quartz that's left. After doing this, there's 1 pure node of quartz left in the map, and I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to use that for yet. I have a few ideas. So we have 7 pure nodes of limestone split into 9 here. If I need to add another train, which I almost certainly will, I will do that. The rest of the quartz is going to mix with the limestone. This is what I'm working on now. I've split it along 288 assemblers, and I've done the bottom row, and I've started doing the top row of these assemblers. So we're basically shoving in a whole bunch of limestone and a whole bunch of quartz to make 18 rows of silica. Okay, it's pretty ridiculous. Let's not lie about it. Right, so look at the frames disappear. Give me some hover back, please. Thank you. Okay, so 2 pure nodes of quartz coming from down there. Now that goes down and underneath, and it's all done nice and neatly, but I'm not going to go down there and look at it. They come along here, split into 4. This is a normal node split into 3 coming in the train, and then there's another 2 normal nodes coming in here. And I've done the same thing I've been doing. I just merge it into a storage buffer like this. So this is a loop here into a storage buffer, and then I have again a bunch of overflow splitters. Apologies guys for the frame drops. But it is what it is, right? So I basically just load balance, split all down to the end, and then another loop. All right, so now I've got 9 rows of quartz and 9 rows of limestone, split down 18 little mini production lines here. All right, so the bottom rows will merge like this and go down to the west, and then come up and merge with the top row. So what I'm left with, we've got about 10 that once I've finished this, 10,000 or so silica per minute, and these are going to be the rows here. Right, so 1, 2, and then all the way down there, 18 rows, and they're going to merge with these 18 rows of the recycled silica, and then get put into these 18 rows of aluminium scrap and go into let's just bring up a machine. It's going to be a foundry. I probably don't have the right stuff to build it, of course not. All right, so let's just go aluminium ingot. And this is what I'm going to do. The alternate recipe is very much less complex, but the standard recipe that uses silica, which I've chosen to use, is more efficient. A lot more complex and a lot more work, but a lot more efficient. All right, so that is a down and dirty run through on what we've done. What I will show before I end the video, the train system that you can see, this kind of stuff floating in the air just here, that is in progress of getting made, but there's a pretty cool little thing which I'll show now, hopefully before the sun goes down. Alright, so I've just taken the hypertube cannon to the main base. So you've seen the big spiral I had. I don't want to be using that route all the time for everything, because if I can land here, it's obviously going to be a lot quicker to come straight back. Now before it gets too dark, I'll just point out something that we've kind of fluked. This is the center of the main base. So me looking down here is the center line. It's lined up with the hub. It's lined up with the space elevator. Nice and square, north, south, east, west. Okay, now we're going to bring a train line down. We're just working on a train station here, but if you have a look at this, this is by pure fluke. If I just zoom in here, all lined up centrally, it goes straight through that little bit of the map there. I've lost for words for some reason. Whatever you want to call that archway thing. I reckon that's just pretty amazing. Like, we absolutely just fluked it. We didn't even plan for that. When we're running the train line down, we're like, look at this, it goes through there perfectly, and it does not clip. See, this is all overhanging, and I'm working on putting structures down, but like the northern side, I'm going to have massive structures. Once this is complete, and we're making over 6,000 aluminium casings per minute and bringing it down the train line here into the base for turbo motors, I'm definitely going to make this massive factory very aesthetically pleasing. But for now, like I said, I'm trying to get one video out per week. That will do, and I'll catch you later.